Sophia's parents had gone out of town for the weekend, leaving her alone in their old, creaky house. It was a secluded property, surrounded by thick woods that seemed to breathe and come alive at night. Despite feeling uneasy, Sophia tried to reassure herself that it was just her imagination playing tricks on her. As darkness descended, Sophia found herself pacing through the dimly lit rooms. The house seemed to groan and sigh, as if it had secrets of its own. She decided to take her mind off the eerie atmosphere by watching a movie, but just as the opening credits rolled, the lights flickered and died, plunging her into total darkness. An uneasy feeling crept over her, but she knew she had to find the circuit breaker. She retrieved a flashlight from a kitchen drawer and made her way to the basement. As she descended the creaky stairs, she heard faint whispers that sent shivers down her spine. She shook it off as her imagination, yet the whispers persisted, growing louder with every step. Finally, Sophia reached the basement, the beam of her flashlight revealing dusty furniture and old cardboard boxes. She found the circuit breaker, but as she was about to flip the switch, the whispers intensified. Now, they seemed like desperate pleas, as if someone was trapped and calling out for help. Her heart pounded, and she hesitated. Could it be her parents? Did they come back early? Sophia called out their names, but there was no response, only the eerie echoes of her voice. Deciding it was just her imagination, she turned on the lights and hurried back upstairs. As the movie played on the TV, Sophia tried to shake off the unsettling feeling. But then she heard footsteps upstairs, soft and deliberate, as if someone was moving with purpose. Fear gripped her heart, and she grabbed a kitchen knife for protection. With trembling hands, she climbed the stairs, trying to keep quiet. The footsteps led to her parents' bedroom. Sophia stood outside the door, her breath caught in her throat. She slowly pushed the door open, revealing an empty room. But the closet door was slightly ajar. She knew she had closed it earlier. Holding her breath, she swung the door open, revealing nothing but clothes and darkness. Just as she was about to leave the room, a cold gust of wind blew through the open window, sending chills down her spine. She rushed to close it, but as she did, she caught a glimpse of something in the reflection of the window, a shadowy figure standing behind her. Sophia's heart pounded, and she turned around, but there was nothing there. She was alone in the room. Her mind played tricks on her again, or so she thought. As she left the room, she noticed the hallway mirror. In its reflection, she saw the figure again, this time standing in the living room. Fear took over, and Sophia ran outside, desperate to escape whatever haunted her home. She stumbled through the woods, branches clawing at her, and darkness enveloping her. Her breathing was heavy, and she could hear her heart pounding in her ears. But the whispers were gone, replaced by the ominous silence of the forest. Sophia was lost, disoriented in the dark woods. Panic set in, and she felt a presence surrounding her, lurking in the shadows. She ran aimlessly until exhaustion overcame her, and she collapsed against a tree. In the distance, she saw a faint light. Her hope rekindled. She stumbled toward it, praying it was a sign of civilization. As she got closer, she realized it was an old abandoned cabin, its windows shattered and its walls covered in graffiti. Feeling desperate for refuge, Sophia cautiously stepped inside. The air was thick with the smell of decay and musty wood. There, in the middle of the floor, she found an old diary. Curiosity got the best of her, and she began to read. The diary belonged to a woman named Emily, who had lived in the cabin decades ago. Her entries spoke of whispers in the night, shadows that moved on their own, and a malevolent presence that haunted her every step. Emily wrote of trying to escape the cabin, but the entity seemed to follow her, tormenting her even after she left. As Sophia read, she heard the whispers again, faint but unmistakable. Fear consumed her, and she dropped the diary, ready to flee the cabin. But then she saw her own handwriting, an entry she didn't remember writing. It said, "I am not alone. The darkness follows me." Sophia's mind reeled as she realized she was trapped, just like Emily had been all those years ago. The whispers grew louder, merging into a haunting chorus that echoed through the cabin. She couldn't escape, and the malevolent presence seemed to feed on her fear. In that dark and lonely cabin, Sophia learned the terrifying truth. She was never alone. The shadows that haunted the house were now consuming her, and she was destined to remain trapped in the darkness forever. As the whispers surrounded her, She knew she had become a part of the horrifying tale.